Welcome to the Music Retail Show. Fun, engaging, educational conversations for the musical instrument community. The Music Retail Show is brought to you by MIRC LLC, providing solutions for the musical instrument community by being a reliable source for diverse music products. If you need inventory for your music store, pawn shop, or e-commerce site, go to mircweb.com to find out more.
All right, man, we are back for another episode of the Music Retail Show, and today we have Mark Anzelc. Mark, we've known each other for a little while, man, and man, we had a mutual friend, obviously, Seb, that was around.
Yep.
So, but man, it's great to catch up with you and talk with you, and man, just see how you're doing, man.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I'm super excited to be back at NAMM in person with other people.
Yes.
Face to face. I'm tired of looking at my computer screen. So this is awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what I'm just realizing I should probably say is Mark is with Reverb.com.
Good point. Yes.
Good point. So that's why you're here, right? You know?
Yeah.
But man, how's it going? You just get into town or what?
So I was not the smartest about my travel decisions, and I decided, you know what? I'm gonna start the day on Wednesday. I woke up at 3:30 in the morning to make it out to NAMM here by 8 a.m. so I could go to the AIM Summit at 9 a.m. Yesterday. Yeah, okay. I definitely, in hindsight, should have.
So how did that go?
I'm super tired.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine.
Right now. Yeah, I definitely should have booked this. I should have came in on Tuesday. Hindsight's 20/20, my friend.
Yeah, actually, Ian and I, when we go out to the Winter NAMM, a lot of times, like last few times that we went, man, we're always like, gosh, we should come out a day earlier and stay maybe a day later, because you get there, you jam everything together, and then you leave and you felt like you're like, what did I just do?
Right. You know, my feet already hurt, and that usually doesn't happen until like day 2 of NAMM.
It just
started for me.
Right.
45 minutes ago.
That's right. And we're not trying to point this stuff out, but we've noticed there's no carpet here this year. So
you are absolutely right.
That's right. So we're going to have a lot of sore feet this year. A lot of sore feet.
Definitely. It's nice that some booths have it, though. I'll just go stand in their booths for a while when I get tired.
So that's kind of cool. You guys don't have a booth this year, but you're here to still try to connect with a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we didn't do a booth this year. Things are looking good for Winter NAMM, I think. But we didn't do a booth this year, but we still wanted to come out and, you know, talk to people and you know, represent Reverb and, you know, just get back into the community. Yeah. We really missed seeing people. I really missed seeing people. So I heard there's going to be a lot of dealers out here, and that's specifically who I work with. You know, I work with our sellers, help them grow their sales and stuff like that on Reverb, my team and I. And yeah, I heard there's going to be a lot out here, and it's been great so far. It's been great seeing people for the first time in a year and a half or longer, depending. So yeah, we just thought it was really important to have a presence in some sort of way.
Well, I have to give it to you, because for Reverb being a selling platform, you guys make an extraordinary effort to connect with people.
Yeah.
So you have always done that very, 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 very well, and I feel like it's paid off. Because every year you guys continue to keep growing and growing. And I think it's because you might be one of the most inviting experiences to sell online that I know about.
Absolutely. You know, this industry is really community-based, and that's really important to us.
Yeah.
To make sure that, you know, online things can kind of feel disconnected and stuff like that, right? You know? So it's really important to us to make sure that the community vibe that this industry has still remains in place on our website. You know, we have tons of sellers, we have tons of buyers. You know, 162,000 buyers.
162,000 buyers.
Yeah,
man.
that number is from 2019, so hopefully it's more. I think it is. And I'm sorry, the sellers, and 624,000 buyers.
Buyers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
My goodness, that's impressive. That's impressive.
Yeah. A lot of props to our marketing team on that.
Yeah.
They do a great job of making sure people know, you know, who Reverb is, coming out, making sure people are having good experiences and stuff like that. Like I said, keeping the community vibe alive.
Yeah, well, and it's a testament to the fact that you guys have, you're here.
Yeah.
So that means that means that you guys believe. I think you guys believe in the community. You guys believe in NAMM. I mean,
absolutely.
You know, there's a lot of whispers a lot of times that like, oh, is this moving in a direction where you don't have to gather as much? And and actually, we just talked to Adam Levins from Chuck Levins,
and
he was just doing a podcast earlier here.
Awesome.
And he's here because he's like, you can't get rid of the relationship. You got to have the relationship, and as relationship oriented as you guys are,
exactly.
It's just nice that you guys are here just being a part of it.
Yeah.
So even as everybody's adapting, was it happening? Are we going? Are we not going? Nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
It's great to see some faces here.
You're absolutely right. And, you know, I was at the Gibson party last night, and I ran into Dan from Chicago Music Exchange, and that's exactly what he and I were talking about. You know, that this, you know, NAMM's a place where you come to build relationships.
Yeah.
And this is such a relationship-driven industry as well, you know, that you have to be here. This is, and oftentimes, you know, there's a lot of business that's being done at NAMM in this space, but there's also a lot of business being done after NAMM at the parties and the social events and stuff like that. And that's really where you get to know people and you start bonding with them, and then everyone wants to work with people they like, right?
That's exactly right.
Right.
Well, you know, it's like, it doesn't really matter what it is, but specifically to the music industry, the retail industry, and, you know, it's a relationship oriented. You want to do business with people that you know, that you trust, that you know, they have your back, you have their back, you're creating win-win situations. And man, I feel like it's nice to see people still making the effort to create that atmosphere and be a part of that this year. So this is a weird year. The crowd's down a little bit, but I think this is for the hopes that everything's going to kind of go back up next year. Winter NAMM will be great as well.
I mean, considering where we were, 6 months ago, really just 6 months ago.
Yes.
And the fact that, 6 months ago we were doing a virtual NAMM, you know?
Yeah.
And just 6 months ago, and this, I walked in, it's like, I'm floored. It's awesome. Yeah. I'm just so excited to be here. And yeah, you gotta go to NAMM. I'm kind of curious,
what did you guys do for NAMM in the winter? Did you have a virtual?
Yeah, so we did some virtual events. We did some like education events. So I hosted some education.
That's right, I remember that.
5 secrets to selling on Reverb. Not secrets, it's kind of tips and stuff like that. Just kind of how to optimize your shop, optimize your presence on Reverb. Stuff like that. And just like I said, help sellers grow. The more they grow, the more we can grow. It's a mutually beneficial thing, and that's part of that relationship. You know what I mean? We want to have these types of relationships with our sellers.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm actually kind of curious. We all know Reverb's been growing, and that you guys, obviously were acquired. And how has 2021 started treating you guys? How are things going?
It's treating us really well. Okay. 2021 has been really, really great. And Q2 just ended, so I don't have those numbers. In Q1, we were up 49.5%.
My goodness.
GMS, that's gross merchandise sales, over last year, over the same period last year. That's $250.9 million that we did in sales, which is great. And we're just so thankful and grateful for all the sellers that list on Reverb and are part of this community, and that we're actually able to help grow and help facilitate these sales for people. Are so grateful for the buyers that come and interact with our community and interact with our sellers and message them and ask them all these questions, and it really gives it that personal vibe, almost that in-store vibe. And just couldn't be more grateful for all of them.
Are you guys seeing the continuation of selling online growing and growing?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, nothing like a pandemic to change habits, right?
Yes. And I asked that actually because it's still a continual conversation with as we work with dealers and people who sell music gear online. I'm still a little surprised to see that there are people that we're still encouraging that they need to sell online. Now, it's very relationship based. This industry is. So you're always going to have an aspect where people want to buy things in stores and things like that. But man, I'm telling you, perfecting and becoming better at selling online is something that you have to do, and Reverb, Reverb.com provides that platform.
You're 100% right. It's not changing and it's not going away. This is how things are moving forward, right? we definitely saw, people had to close down their stores. What are they going to do? They have to sell somewhere. And, I've been talking to dealers here, just in the day that I've been here, and they're saying, they're like, see my Reverb shirt, like, oh my God, thank you. Like, you helped me get through the pandemic. And I'm like, oh my,
man, you love to hear that.
I love to hear that. Yeah. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm so grateful that you trusted us and that you wanted to work with us, and thank you, because we couldn't provide this platform either without you doing that. And they needed an online channel to sell it, and a lot of times it was just the owner and maybe his wife going in and packing up boxes and shipping them out and stuff like that, just to kind of keep things afloat for a while. And it was scary and dark times, but we always wanted to make sure that people felt like we were there for them, and that we could help them through it. And I think we did. I think we were successful with that. And we definitely saw a lot of people, an accelerated interest in online sales and becoming, there's a certain amount of technical acumen, you know what I mean, that goes into it, right? So we definitely saw a lot of people kind of embracing that. Maybe some of the holdouts that hadn't before. And even people who were like, well, maybe they listed with Reverb, but they were only like listing one at a time, and it wasn't really a time efficient thing, like asking us, how can I get this up more quickly? Because I actually don't have any other channel to sell this through, and I need to get this stuff up yesterday. You know what I mean? I didn't know this was going to happen. And, we were always there to help them. And from my experience, that attitude, a lot of times, I think, I'll talk to people and I'll be like, hey, are you putting these guitars on Reverb? And a lot of times they'll go like, well, I'll list stuff on Reverb if it hasn't sold in the first 3 or 4 weeks. And I'm always like, man, put it up on Reverb, sell it in your store, because it's such a user-friendly platform. You can do both. Right.
You really, really, really can.
Right. I always try to get people to think about Reverb as an extension of your business. It's not a competitor or anything like that. I want to be an extension of your business. I am interested in helping you grow. I'm interested in helping you be profitable in your sales online. You know what I mean? Because it does cost a little bit more to do that, right? And I think the best strategy that I could give anybody is list every single thing that you got. You know what I mean? Because there is a buyer out there. Reverb, obviously, we're growing in a lot of categories. Guitars and stuff like that are bread and butter for us, right? So a lot of people think like, oh, I'll just listen to my guitars and stuff. But no, I mean, people buy everything on Reverb.
That's right.
Anything that could be sold has been bought by somebody on Reverb. So don't limit yourself that way, Put it all up. The analogy I always kind of gave was like, Reverb's like a virtual mall. You know what I mean? It's a marketplace, right? And malls are just, modern day marketplaces. And you wouldn't open up a store in a mall and only put like 6 things to sell, right?
No, you're right. It's like even if we want to use something like a Walmart for an example, it's just like, can you imagine walking into Walmart with only 12 things hanging on their wall?
Right.
They don't do that. It's they understand the whole concept, but getting people to understand the physical and the virtual aspects of that same concept is. Sometimes it takes a little bit of effort to get people to understand that.
It absolutely does. And sometimes there's technical limitations and stuff like that people have. But, reach out to, sellerengagement@reverb.com. That's the email address to hit up my team, and we will help you sell more. You know what I mean? And we will help you through these technical challenges. We'll hold your hand through it. That's what we're here for. It doesn't cost more to get this advice from us and get this help from us. We want you to grow. Truly and sincerely.
What are some of the categories that you guys saw maybe kind of skyrocket or change over last year and into this year? So obviously guitars is something. And if you could recap real fast, Reverb got started purely as kind of like a vintage guitar market exchange.
Yeah, initially on Reverb, it was just for used. Dealer networks. The agreements didn't have places like Reverb built into the agreement yet. So there wasn't a path forward for new until we started building those relationships with some of these brands.
That's right.
So and over time, and eventually grew into what Reverb is now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in the past year, the things that we saw, I mean, like I said, everything sells on Reverb, but it's really no surprise, like what was selling really well in 2020, especially starting in March when everything was starting to shut down, right? It was acoustic guitars. People are in their homes or in their apartments, and they want to learn an instrument, and sometimes getting a full stack with an electric guitar in an apartment might not work for you. So you're going to get something a little bit quieter. So electric guitars, pro audio equipment, microphones. A lot of people were building home studios, with interfaces and stuff like that, trying to record their own music. They were creating hobbies over the past year, and a lot of new people. These hobbies didn't exist for some of these folks. And so, like a lot of dealers and sellers in the industry, we saw very similar trends that they were experiencing.
Yeah, and I can imagine too, obviously, just talking to Adam a little bit ago, podcast equipment has probably just been a big seller. Microphones, like you said, but people wanting to create hey, it's just a hobby, but maybe turning into businesses even in their own homes.
I have like 10 friends that started podcasts for the first time over the pandemic. Yeah, they're like, I don't know, I always listen to them, and I got these ideas, and like, I don't expect anyone to listen to it, but I just want to do it. It sounds fun.
If obviously we have the music retail show, which is very niche. We want to talk to the retail community of the music industry. But like, if I was like, all right, I want to start a podcast, like, I would run out of ideas after the third show.
Me too.
I mean, I'm like, what do you talk about? And then what's interesting is some of these podcasts out there, man, you just get really talented personalities talking about nothing.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you've been listening to it for an hour.
Yes.
So, or you continue to listen to new. So I guess maybe it's just a lot of people they bring their talent and they see what happens.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
But podcast equipment, I'm sure, has been a big category for you guys. And I don't even know if you have the specific category, but whether it's microphones or cables or mixers and things like that. So.
Yeah, all of that. You know what I mean? Because you need the cable to hook the mic into the interface, and then the cable to hook the interface to the computer and all that stuff. So all the accessories, absolutely. Microphones, acoustic guitars, interfaces, accessories that come with all that stuff. Tuners, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
people
absolutely.
Needed to keep their, not everyone tunes by ear, right? You know what I mean? So when they're buying guitars, they buy tuners too. So list that stuff, people. List your tuners. People will buy them. Those are upsells. It's good stuff to sell, right?
Yeah. And you guys do what I think is really cool, how you guys have adapted over the years, is you allow people to create bundles or add-on sales in different ways. That's something that people have latched onto?
Yeah, absolutely. And we even tried to help productize it a bit. And so later last year, I think it was late Q3 or very early Q4, we released a couple features, which was essentially like a combined shipping feature. So what you're able to do is combine two different listings together that hey buyer, if you were to purchase this thing with this thing, here's the discounted shipping rate that you would have with it. It's a means to help people upsell, that kind of stuff. We introduced free shipping thresholds as well. So you can set a shop-wide threshold of hey, anything over $30, is going to ship for free. So if you were just coming to buy a pack of strings, why don't you buy 6 of them? Because then you're going to get free shipping out of it. And you're going to use them anyway eventually. You're going to break your strings, right?
How have you guys, and I don't even know if you do, but how have you guys been supporting your sellers as shipping costs and supplies of stuff like that have just kind of risen?
Yeah.
Are you getting questions back about what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, so we always try to support sellers in that way. You're always able to buy your shipping labels through Reverb.
Mm-hmm.
We able to offer discounted rates through that. So because it's essentially our partnership with that carrier, right?
Yeah.
So we pass those savings along to you, so you can save money by using Reverb shipping labels. We also offer we call it safe shipping. It's essentially a more streamlined way that if you do ship something and God forbid something happens to it in transit, we will help you either get that thing repaired, or if it's a total loss, get your money back on that. It's essentially like a shipping kind of protection thing, but instead of having to deal with a carrier, which sometimes can be a bit painstaking, to be honest. You know what I mean? I think we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
With a lost package or something like that, you got to wait 30 days with some carriers. you're just going to talk to some people on our team, on our resolutions team. There's human beings in the Chicago office, well, virtual right now, but we'll be getting back in that soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
Who are going to help, hold your hand through that, make sure you're feeling good about everything that's happening, and
yeah. What actually, it's kind of, as I'm listening to you, what's the ratio of like guitars where you guys, let's say something breaks and you're going, hey, we'll help you repair that.
Yeah.
Like, is that an easy process for you? Is that something that you and your seller are able to accomplish
absolutely.
Pretty painlessly?
Yeah, pretty painlessly. Essentially, all you need to do is if something gets damaged in transit and it's repairable, it's not a total loss. And in most cases, it usually is repairable. You know what I mean? It's, a broken headstock or something like that. Yeah. You take it to like a local repair shop, essentially. You get a quote for it. You share that quote with us. And then if you don't know where to go, we have suggestions for people in all different areas. We could help you find a repair shop to take it to get that quote and stuff like that, So whether you're an expert and you've been selling for 10 years and everyone in your local community and all the best places to take things for the honest and best work that you're going to get, or you've never done it before and you just got unlucky on that first thing and some carrier dropped it and it broke, we'll help you. We can help you find something.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm asking that too is it's again, as people are still, you would think there wouldn't be any left, but as people are still trying to move to selling online or selling more online or having the right attitude, there's still some of those fears that keep people going, well, I don't know if I want to sell online because of these fears. But my point in this is how you guys have tried to take every step to think of the things that could happen and how they can be protected, their buyer can be protected.
Definitely.
And you try to create the best experience possible.
And look, at the end of the day, there's always a local pickup option. It's really limiting your audience, you know what I mean? Because it's just someone that's really within driving distance of you. And hey, depending on the thing, I've seen people go a couple states to go pick something up, you know what I mean? Especially if it's like a really rare guitar. And I've seen people like say, hey, you know what? Like, don't ship it. I'm just going to go drive to you because this thing is like $20,000 and I don't want to risk putting this in the hands of a stranger. I will drive out and take a trip out and pick up this guitar. I've seen people carry things on planes. You know what I mean?
Have you?
Yeah,
okay.
Because, and I get that. It all depends on it. But, at the end of the day, there always is just that local pickup option.
Yeah.
And we facilitate the transaction. It's safe. And, you're not going to get scammed. We protect you as a seller and a buyer.
Mm-hmm. And obviously supply chains have been a big issue. For a while. So I would assume that, the exchange of used music gear has got to be at the highest level it's ever been. I mean, if people are trying to acquire, maybe you still hear how people are going, man, I'm shopping on Reverb to find something so I can put it in my store or I can flip it and I can sell it.
Right.
So it's still a great platform to be able to find gear as well when you need it. Yeah,
I mean, definitely. There are definitely supply chain issues right now, and so everyone feels it, right? The great thing about Reverb is we just have such a diverse and wide collection of sellers who are shipping with that, our concerns around being able to meet demand, we don't really have that many concerns around being able to meet demand. And you're right. One of the things I was talking to some people about, some dealers who are experiencing some supply chain issues, I'm like, what do you, you can't control this, so what ways are you trying to be innovative in getting over that hurdle? And a lot of people are saying what you just said, I'm trying to find more used. They're diverse, either trying to diversify their inventory with people who do have things that can ship out right now, right? So some of these brands, not all brands are experiencing, the same types of supply chain issues. So some of them are able to. So they're trying to diversify who they're selling, and they're also really, really proactively going after used because they're like, hey, if I can't get that thing in brand new condition and there's demand for it, I know there's demand for it, if I could get one in used, I could probably still sell that, So I've heard people doing that too, which is really smart.
Yeah, and I know people have done it for years, but I've heard more people say they've been walking in pawn shops trying to buy music gear that now more than ever.
Yeah.
People are scouring the land looking for more things to sell. which is great because that's the kind of stuff that I think it would just be perfect to put on Reverb.
Well, what about Mark? Are you guys experiencing any supply chain issues with getting your stuff in?
We're obviously, with what we do, we're always at the mercy of what these manufacturers have and available. But you know what? Right now we have a really great slogan called "Whoever has the most guitars wins."
Okay.
So
That's
we're trying
awesome.
to be involved with these manufacturers to try to provide a solution for them when they need it. So we're getting a lot of stuff in, but also at the same time, the demand for buying guitars just keeps going up and up and up.
It's at an all-time high. I'm a dealer that I work with. He's like, I have less guitars and more guitar orders than ever before. He's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. There just isn't enough. And hopefully, look, eventually things will get back to normal.
Yeah, but it's caused people to, and from what I've seen, it's caused people to widen what they do.
Right.
You get a lot of people, at least what we see, you get a lot of people that go, as far as guitars, they go, man, I like to sell Fender and Squier and Gretsch and Jackson or Epiphone. Like, they become very attached to these brands that sell very well naturally because they're desirable guitars.
They are, right.
But now, when those kinds of things aren't always available, they might move over to nylon strings, or they try to sell more cases or more gig bags, or
it's diversifying your inventory.
Yeah, whatever it is. And it's caused people to learn how to sell better.
Right.
So there's been some growing pains in that too, because a lot of times people are creatures of habit. They go, I just want to sell what I know how to sell.
Right.
And then you go, well, have fun selling nothing because you're telling me you have nothing.
Right. Because there are things beyond your control. You know what I mean?
That's
right. I get it. I get being comfortable. I love being comfortable. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's what everybody. Yeah, that's right.
But hey, you know what? Sometimes the world changes and it's not within your control, and it's adapt or die. You know, and you gotta be open to that change. And it's not, God forbid. I hope there's never another pandemic ever, at least in my lifetime. But it's not going to be the only time people are going to be faced with having to adapt and change in some way. There's small ways that this happens, especially in sales and especially in retail and in commerce, right? You just got to be open to that. Embrace it.
That's right.
Change is good.
Yeah. So maybe to close out our conversation, where do you see Reverb going? What are some things that maybe you guys are trying to look forward to into the future?
Yeah. So one thing that really changed with the pandemic was, Amazon stopped stopped shipping musical instruments for a while. A lot of dealer networks started growing. There's a lot more demand for brand new. Like you said, Reverb really started as a used marketplace. Of course, that's our bread and butter, right? But we are starting to see a lot more with brand new coming to the fold, and being open to changing and adapting. We're trying to seize a lot more of that. So I see brand new having a bigger focus over in the years to come, and which I think is a really, really great thing. Because look at NAMM. All this stuff is, it's brand new stuff. Yeah, it's what's new. It's what's coming out, and I'm just really excited to see Reverb become a bigger part of that. Yeah,
and that's a great point too. If a lot of the supply chains were as they were, the value of that used stuff is growing and growing and maybe getting pushed a little bit more.
It is, absolutely.
You guys seeing that? So it's almost kind of like the car market right now. The used cars are just barely
so
under, maybe even over what a new car might be, depending on if there's anything available to buy. But
homes are the same way, right?
I wonder if guitars or musical instruments are the same way. It's like
it is. New
stuff will start to sell more on Reverb, because maybe some of the used value of something, maybe it's not too far difference, and somebody might just go, hey, I could save some money on a used one, but maybe I'll buy the new one because it's just only a little bit more. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there as an idea.
You're absolutely right. Used sales or used prices are up now, the same way it's a seller's market in the housing market right now. Cars, everything is up, especially in used stuff, right? If you have some used things that you want to get top dollar for, now is musical instruments or homes, even whatever you're selling. Now's the time to do that for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. So, Mark, man,
thank you so much.
It's always a pleasure to have you guys on, and this is great. This was our first conversation on the podcast, and man, it means a lot to us that you're willing to be a part of it.
Thank you so much for having me. I love you guys. I love Mark.
Yes.
Next year, I'm going to come out to Franklin. I'm going to see you guys. We're going to be here a little bit longer. That's the plan, and I can't wait to keep working with you guys. And thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Really, really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, appreciate it. Have a great rest of the show.
I absolutely will.
And I know we'll talk soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Music Retail Show.